So, the skies over Syria just lit up with a huge wave of U.S. airstrikes. In this explainer, we're going to break down what this incredibly intense operation really means for the ongoing and, constantly changing threat of ISIS.
Okay, think about this for a second. In the pitch-black sky over a country already torn apart, warplanes unleash one of the biggest attacks we've seen in years. So is this just a quick moment of payback, or is it actually the first page of a much, much bigger story?
Well, that's pretty much what just happened. The United States carried out this massive military operation, hitting Islamic State strongholds right inside Syria. It was all about sending a very, very clear message. But to really get what that message is, we've got to dig into the details.
All right, so let's jump right in and break down the sheer scale of this operation.
We're not talking about just a few targets here. In a really short amount of time, over 70 different locations got hit. That number alone tells you everything you need to know about the intensity and the level of coordination that went into this.
And these strikes weren't random at all. The targets were super strategic. They hit these hidden strongholds tucked away in the remote, rugged mountains near Palmyra. That area, with its tough terrain, has been an ideal safe haven for ISIS for a long time. The goal was to really dismantle their network by taking out not just a bunch of fighters, but also a senior cell leader who they believed was coordinating future attacks.
Which of course brings us to the most important question. Why now? What on earth prompted such a huge, forceful response?
Well, this operation wasn't some kind of preemptive strike. It was direct retaliation. The U.S. was hitting back because of a specific, hostile act that had happened just a few days before. And the trigger for this massive response? It was the human cost. A deadly attack that killed 2 American service members and 1 American civilian interpreter. That single, tragic event is what set this whole operation in motion. And the message from Washington, delivered by the president, was designed to be completely unmistakable and blunt. This quote really sums up the administration's policy. You attack American lives, you're going to get a disproportionately powerful response, period.
Now, it's really important to get this. The U.S. wasn't acting alone here. They were joined by key allies in the region, including Jordan, which shows this was a coordinated international front against the threat.
But even as all of this was happening, a new and really urgent question started to bubble up. Was this just a one-and-done event, or was this the beginning of a whole new, long-term fight?
And this is where things get a little murky. Officially, you had U.S. officials insisting these were just limited, targeted strikes, definitely not the start of a new war. But then, behind the scenes, you had media reports suggesting these operations could actually go on for weeks. That hints at a much longer fight than what the public was being told.
To really make sense of this confusion, we've got to zoom out and look at the bigger picture in Syria. Because the thing is, ISIS, despite all its defeats, it has not gone away.
This right here is the core of their strategy. ISIS thrives on chaos. As Syria tries to navigate this really fragile political transition after the fall of the Assad regime, it creates a power vacuum. And that's not just some political term. It means you have areas with no police, no government services, no clear authority. That is the perfect environment for a group like ISIS to exploit and stage a comeback.
And that's exactly why the United States still has boots on the ground in the country. We're talking about roughly 1,000 troops who are still there.
And their job? It's laser-focused on one thing and one thing only, doing everything possible to stop ISIS from regrouping and becoming that global threat it once was.
So, this brings us to the crucial point of understanding what's truly at stake here. Not just for Syria, but really for the whole world.
The hard truth is that Syria is still a nation torn apart. The government in Damascus doesn't control the whole country, and you've got experts warning that if the whole system collapses, the result could just be total chaos. And for the U.S. and its allies, the calculation is simple. If ISIS is allowed to regroup in that chaos, the consequences are absolutely going to spill over Syria's borders.
So if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this. The fight against extremism in this part of the world is nowhere near over. It's an ongoing and very volatile situation. Which leaves us all with one final and pretty unsettling question. In a land that's defined by instability, if ISIS is beaten back, who or what is going to fill that void?